All right, everybody. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Pixologic stream. My name is Ian, aka Sculpts, as of you know me, and I make toys for a living. And we are continuing our Demon Slayer project that we've been doing for a while. So hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. Hopefully it's good. Glad to have you here as I sculpt. I'm here for the next 3 hours, ask questions, all that good stuff. If you're new to this, then go ahead and hit the subscribe or follow depending where you're at, because there's tons of artists here, not just me, but a bunch of other artists. And also, too, guys, just real quick, this coming Wednesday, is a announcement from Pixologic about ZBrush. You're gonna want to be there. What is up? All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you guys can see, let's do a little update real quick. Kind of showcase it just a little bit. But where we left off last time was we pretty much locked in our pose for Netsuko and Tanjiro. And where we're going to go right now is actually starting to detail things. So we're starting to get into cloth detailing. I also want to get into final textures. I do need to figure out actually the base, so we might do that first. I'm thinking kind of a rocky terrain. Thought that might be kind of cool. So we could probably figure out a little bit of environment work, but I need to kind of tweak a few things here and there with the overall clothing and stuff. So let's get into that. Let's work on a base, and then this project should be wrapping up fairly soon. There's still a lot I want to do to it, but they're all tiny little things. So instead of being here and sculpting 3 hours on a piece of cloth for everyone, I figured, I'm going to start moving this off stream and then let it know when it's all said and done. But for the most part, we have the overall look and feel of it, and that's the important part. Now let's kind of lock in some stuff. So let's do that. Let's pull up some rocky terrain reference and maybe get some something there. Let's do that. Hello, good evening, good night, good afternoon, good morning. What's going on, guys? Welcome in, guys. How is everybody's weekend going? Since it's Sunday for most, but I know it might be Monday for some. How was your guys' weekend so far? Now let's pull up some so what I like to do here, I'm going to showcase a little bit of how I search for things. So I'm going to type in a lot of gibberish. Japanese rock. Play rocky terrain. Or yeah, it's rocky terrain. Let's see if we can find some images that give us a little bit of example of what I'm looking for. Ooh, this is kind of cool. We could do something kind of like this rock right. Ooh, I like this. We can do something like this. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, something along those lines. Let's actually just kind of block this out. Let's do that. We'll put that right up there. What up, man? What up, Eric? What up, Lewis? What's going on, guys? Thank you. Yeah. This interface is always changing. But yeah. Alright, let's do it. So we have our reference up here. Let's close some stuff down. And we're going to go ahead and select this one. We're going to append. Let's append a sphere. Kind of drop this down a little bit. There we go. Something like that. And let's give it kind of a grayish tone, but like a cool gray. He's popular. What up, Brian? What's up, guys? Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and move the statue base down here. And let's plop this in here. And we're going to make it a rock. Call it rock for now. Something so elegant, right? Okay. I'm going to scale it up a bit. And then I'm going to put on transpose so I can kind of see where his feet are going to be. And then I'm just going to start cutting away. So actually, let's use... You know what? Yeah, let's use that. Yeah, that's fine. cut some of that there. Let's just cut this bottom off a little bit. And I just kind of want to cut some spots that make sense. Not really planning anything, I'm just kind of cutting for now. Go ahead and fill that object. And based on what we have here, do this way. We're just gonna kind of whittle this away a bit. There we go. Yo, what's up, Ketchin? How you guys doing? And don't forget, guys, you can always ask questions. I am here to hopefully help you with anything you might need. So feel free to jump in there. Okay, now we kind of have this kind of base thingy, and it's really low topology. I'm actually gonna subdivide it a few times, and let's delete that subdivision because I'm gonna Dynamesh it. So let's blur off, and let's go with like 300 resolution. Yeah, there we go. And now we're just gonna kind of get like some rock brushes, and I like to use the Orb Flatten. It's a really awesome brush. I like to just kind of come through here and just start cleaning stuff up a little, hitting some of the areas that make sense. Just like that. And I'm not worried about the bottom side of the base. I can trim that, however. I kind of just want to worry about just making something that works. And if this brush doesn't do it, the Trim Dynamic is also another really great one. Kind of come through here and start making cuts. Now this is kind of a giant base, so let's see here. Let's actually mask this section off here like such. Kind of funky. Let's do that. Kind of crush it a bit, give it a little bit of a crease. There we go. Let's kind of cut in there. Let's re-Dynamesh it. And let's clip off a little bit more. So when it comes to environments, you just, especially with rocks, you just want to keep it as organic as possible. I always find asymmetrically sculpting a rock tends to be a little bit more, or feels a little bit more genuine once you get past the initial shaping stage. I'm going to go slight stylized, but nothing too crazy. I'm also going to take the damn standard and accentuate some parts like right here. I kind of cut in a little bit. And we can also use maybe orb cracks too. Yeah, that'll also be a really good one. If you guys don't have the orbs brushes, you could just do a Google search. They're pretty accessible, but I find them to be extremely helpful when making rocks. There we go. Do this. Kind of plop that right there, and we'll solo this out and get shaping. And let's save it real quick. Anybody working on some fun projects? I'm gonna take a big brush here. Let's go ahead and just start. Flattening that stuff out. Let's go back and let's grab cracks. Hey, there we go. That's looking pretty good. When you're making cracks and stuff like that within something like a rock, I would say try to keep the texture and stuff too, or like the grain flow kind of happening in the same direction. So if you start slicing this way, then all of a sudden you start slicing down, that might look a little weird. So just a little tip. Go right here. Let's actually up the resolution just a smidget. Hey, what's up, Crap and Candace? Hiya! What do you look for in silhouette to create a dynamic pose like this? That's a great question. So, a lot of what I look for is body language, and I also look for essentially like an S-curve shape. So, let's actually give you an example real quick. Let me change materials to this thin outline, and let me know, hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see that. But what I really look for with something like this is A, story, but B, I look for just the flow of things. So let me pull up my pen here real quick. Okay, so one of the key things that I look for when I was talking about like S-curve and stuff like that, let's actually look at it this way for a second, is the direction in which it's actually flowing. Because this is a two-character piece, what really makes it difficult is getting the characters to interact with not only themselves but the environment. So I know her she's looking out and about in kind of this direction here, and I wanted him to be looking in at a similar angle with direction, which first will give the story a little bit more to read, but then the flow of the characters. Nothing is ever just straight up and down. Everything needs to have some sort of like shape to it. So here with that S curve I was telling you about, we grab this. If we start up here, we kind of the movement of her is going up this way and kind of out. And his body language needs to suggest a little bit more of a defensive position. So his flow, so the flow of the characters is actually coming kind of through this area. And his direction is very much planted into the ground. Okay, so from every angle, there needs to be some sort of communication of flow throughout the whole piece. So if we were to go ahead and just kind of erase this, crash that real quick, and then let's turn it off. If we look at it this way, now this is probably a little bit more of a complex angle because there's a lot of up and down with the characters, and we'll look at the backside as well. But you could see here, I didn't just have them straight up and down. There's a little bit of an angle to her, ever so slightly. Now, you could try to push this a bit, but ideally here, you could tell it's just not up and down. There's like a little bit of a curvature here. Not a lot, but a little bit. And that curvature, so if we go from her face and bring it on down, can be kind of drawn through like this. So you just want to make it seem interesting as much as possible. Hopefully this makes a lot of sense. But again, just that slight tilt of the character makes it a little bit more appealing. And then, of course, we already looked at it from this angle. But then, for me, a really important aspect, which I'm probably going to end up changing with the base itself here, but let's turn everything back on, is that, looking at it from the side, being able to see a lot of what's happening. This piece is demanding that we look at it from every angle to get the whole story. which makes it challenging too, because if we look at it from this side, we're only seeing Tanjiro, but we have curiosity in what's happening behind him. And then same thing here, we see her, but we do see that she's interacting with him. So there's a bit of curiosity to it. It's yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Marky, how you doing? Our Lord, what's going on? So yeah, there's a lot that we want from it. Now, if we look from the top, it is starting to feel a little bit flat. And so what we can do is we can even just do something as simple as just angle this base a little bit. So that way it's not just so straight, that we can actually have a little bit of play here and there. So we can even come through, kind of widen this up a bit. Maybe scale it just a bit. And then we can come through and kind of adjust. That way, it's a little bit of play. Then we can, as we're building this rock, we can kind of build around that ideal of something. This is also kind of a funky shape, now that I'm really looking at it. So why don't we actually come around here and kind of see what happens if we round it out just a bit. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, I just look for, on all sides of it, how it's communicating with itself, how it's communicating with the environment, and then from there, is it reading or telling me the story that I'm looking for? That can make that can make it a slight challenge when it comes to such a dynamic piece like this. But ultimately, it's just about like telling the story and keeping people's interest at it. In fact, that's what we're going to do. We're going to round this out. Make that a little bit more interesting. Actually going to cut kind of underneath it. Not a problem, yeah. Ooh. Auto group, let's grab that. It ends. I'm also going to use the H polish. H polish is great for rocks because it can really bring out a little bit more of that sharp edge that we're looking for. Good morning! What is happening? Welcome in. Happy to have you here. Let's go back to that orb's cracks. I'm actually gonna stamp right here. So one of the coolest features with 21.7.1 is we have the ability to kind of timestamp a location. And what we're gonna do is come through here. Gonna make some cracks. That makes sense. We're gonna come through like such. And then I'm going to go up to stroke. I'm going to go up to adjust last. Kind of push that in a little bit. That timestamp is allowing me to do this to everything that I see, which is nice. And then you could just remove that timestamp if you don't want it anymore. Juan, how you doing? Hey, good morning is late for me, but I just woke up a couple hours ago. So nighttime is my morning now. That's awesome, our Lord. Oh, Kozu, that's awesome. I used to be a guy that would stay up like 2, 3 in the morning, go to bed, and then wake up at 6, and be at work at 6. I did that for like 8 years, then crashed really hard. Go back to that H polish. Now, the other cool thing about the orbs is we could take the... Let's take, like, the slash. Yeah, maybe not this one. Let's do... Yeah, let's do this one. kind of reinforce some of those. Like such. And then what we're going to do is take that H polish. We're going to come to some of these sharp edges here. Now I'm going to start kind of adding a little bit of beveling. Did something similar, worked at a roofing company. Had to be up at 4:45. Holy hell. I go home around 8. I stay up till like 12 or 1, play games, make music, then boom, crash. Yeah, man. Lofo, what's up? Have you been streaming for a while? I streamed last week, but I didn't stream for Halloween, and I didn't stream because of the ZBrush Summit. So, yeah, we're kind of getting back into it a little bit. Holidays are coming up, too, so I might take a couple weekends off to spend time with the kids and fam and just, you know, enjoy myself. But for the most part, yeah, every Sunday. We've been doing it. Okay. Add a little bit of love right here. Okay. Get this base interacting. And you know what? Too big. So this is why I always start as large as I do. I literally just want to cut that. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. Yeah. But what we're going to do here, let's go ahead and not fill a rock with hot pink, although that could be cool for some things, just not today. And then his legs are here, so let's mark that spot, and let's add in yeah, let's add in some texture right here. Oh, you mean today? Have I been streaming for a while? No, 24 minutes. You are good. So, like, we're just getting warmed up. Sorry, I misunderstood what you said. That's kind of where my head's at today. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add some rocks here. I'm going to bring this up here, and then we're going to go back to stroke and then adjust last. So I want to kind of bring that up a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a timestamp. Okay, do that right there. Gonna add a little bit more of this rock detail right here. So this is just an ore of rubble. And then stroke, adjust last. Boom. How's that inverted? Why are you inverted? This. Okay, let's try it one more time. Add that marker. Go ahead. Stuff here. Trick is to not make it look so obviously repeated. You know what we could do as well? We can actually come back in time, grab a morph target, store that morph target, and repeat that process. That vertical scratches on the stone. Wait. I'm gonna be, yeah, we'll be adding more scratches for sure. Hey, Cannaporn, how you doing? Add just a little bit of. Gonna place some such, and then let's go back and then we're gonna add some cracks and stuff here, give it a little bit more of a dynamic feel. This time they'll be a little bit more sporadic. And what I'm going to do for that is go to stroke. I'm going to go to modifiers. And I'm going to go to stroke jitter. And I'm going to crank that up a little bit. That's going to cause my stroke to be a little bit uneven naturally. What brush did you use to make those small rocks? So that is under the orbs brush set. If you just Google orbs brush, I used the orb rubble. Orb rubble 01. There's also a 2, 3, and a 4, so you can use any of those. It's a quick way to have some fun. So you can see here, if I just draw a straight line, it has this natural kind of funkiness to it, so you could just adjust that, adding that up there. And then you can also do brush imperfection. So that's going to allow it to kind of, again, seem a little bit more natural with the way it's going to go. Let's do preview AO, just so that we have a little bit of depth. So now I can start drawing this. And then I'm going to also just kind of start adjusting how I want this. And this will just be my own little kind of take on it. And here we'll actually stamp a new spot. So that way we can go back to that adjust last. Actually push that in a bit more. Hey, not a problem. In regards to the question, without vertical scratches on the stone, could you elaborate just a little bit more on what you're asking? I want to make sure I understand it correctly. Oh. Okay, so my resolution's actually pretty low, so I can either turn on Sculpts for the win, or I can go up in subdivision, but we're pretty low, so I'm just going to go up in subdivision for now. 800,000 should be fine. And we're going to see what we think of this. And again, I'm still looking at my reference. Got some stone Japanese garden rocks. Look pretty cool, actually. And I think we're going to want to go a little bit bigger with that. You know what, let's go with it. Cracks in here. Yeah, that's looking a bit. Always review your work, because, you know, you never know. Seems like a very squarish base. Thinking about changing it just a little bit. See something. What I'm gonna do is actually put this here. I'm I'm actually going to angle him up just a bit. Oh, hello. The piece of hair that was somewhere. There we go. Yeah, let's push him up a little bit. And what we can do is actually Control Shift D or Control Shift D duplicates a part. What we can do is actually maybe add a second rock just above. Bring a little bit of love to it. Layer. Oh, never mind. Okay. No worries. Let's go ahead and start chopping this up a little bit. I'm going to use Trim Dynamic now. Not Trim Dynamic, sorry. I'm going to actually use Clip Curve. Oops, wrong way. The Clip Curve kind of just like crushes it a little bit. I want that piece to be just a little bit different. And let's actually hit that little switch right there. Let's take polish brush. Each polish. Come on. Up a little bit. Here, turn that jitter back down. Bit. Right. Add in a bunch more detail here. Got that. Go knife curve. Put that right there. We can just kind of make that a little bit better. Now I'm gonna look up just a couple more reference on some rocks, and then we're good here. Let's see. That's the thing, guys. When in doubt, just always look up some sort of reference. It's just super helpful. There we go. Now I'm going to take the Move Infinite brush. Now this brush is really cool because you can really just start moving some shapes pretty quickly. That for a second. Your Dynamesh. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to polish this. We're going to go Dynamesh. We're going to turn polish on. Give it a little bit more of like that edge attention. break up some of these edges here. Really softening it. Okay, turn that color off. And then now we're gonna do, let's go clay polish. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and say sharpen about 25%. Let's do that. Now you want to be careful with clay polish because you can make something look like ice really quickly, and we don't want to do that. So what's neat is that actually give us a little bit of a mask. You can fill that. Give us a little bit more highlight play. And you can start helping bringing everything together. We're going to do the same thing here. Invert that, soften that up a bit. Gradient off, we don't want that. Or give us a little something, see what we think. I'm just taking a very fine slashing brush. I'm using the orb slash, and we're just gonna kind of start scratching it up. Okay. You can even take this and start creating some more detailed inner cracks too. Give us just a little bit more attention to detail. All right. Let's actually increase that resolution just a little bit. Take the dam standard here. Let's start creating some of this here. Actually, you know what? We're going to use the pinch brush now. Probably going to help me a little bit better with that edge. Nice. All right, let's go back here real quick. Let's just kind of take a look at it. And just to showcase it. Yeah, I think that's going out pretty good. Super normal, what's happening? Yeah, that's starting to look pretty good. I'm gonna want to create a couple more like little stacks, just because it's still super plain right now. So what we're gonna do is actually let's create like a couple more like little, almost like broken pieces, so to speak, that we can stack on top of each other. So let's do this. Let's actually duplicate. Go ahead and duplicate that, but let's bring it down. We already did a lot of this work here. Now what I'm going to do is actually just... I'm just going to use the knife curve here. That's not going to do what I want it to do. So let's actually... There we go. Like that. Cut that top off, that bottom off. We have this big old piece. Go ahead and fill it, and let's Dynamesh it. Gonna smooth that down. Kamara, what's happening? Welcome in, welcome in. If you guys don't know Kamara, you should. Because she's a super talented, awesome sculptor. You gotta click on her name. Huge shout out to her. Super amazing. Hey, happening, Kamara. Okay. Let's grab this right here. I'm gonna shrink this down. Let's actually add where we might want to see this. Kind of shrink it like such. Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. Hold on. All right, I have an idea. Something just hit me, and I have to do it. Okay. I'm hoping you guys like this touch. I'll explain here in a second, because you know. You're probably like, I have no idea what he's talking about. Okay, check this out. All right, I'm going to save this real quick, and then I'm going to go on a hunt real fast for this one file that I know is somewhere. So hold on one second while I do that, because I think you guys will love it, especially if you're Demon Slayer fans. Having some trouble with my printer, but I just picked up a couple new USB drives. Hopefully a fresh one will solve the issue. Yeah, what size are your USB drives? Because some printers have troubles reading larger USB drives. Which, believe it or not, even now, could be some of the issue. I usually try to stick between 8 to 16 gigs. I don't go bigger than that. But that's just me. Okay, let's see here. I sculpted this in 2020. Pretty certain. For Halloween at some point. So let's go back here. Aha! Here we go. Okay, cool. We're gonna add this. Let's see if this will let me do it. More lookups. This is a ZTL file. Look up another thingy. Go program files. Pixologic. ZBrush 2021. ZBrush. Say open. ZBrush, go. You're using an old 2 gig one, but my prints are glitching. Hey, Talden! Okay, so a while ago, guys, I sculpted this mask. And we're gonna add it. I think we're gonna add that to the statue. So let's do that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and mask, and we're gonna Boolean folder. I did this back in 2020, around August. Oh, planning for Halloween, and you know, life. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and merge down. Yes, yes. And then we're gonna copy this. We're gonna bring it over here, and we're gonna paste it. Paste. Whee! And I should make the other one. That's what I should do too. Should use this base and make the other one. Especially if you guys know this mask. I think this. Let's find out. It could be not cool. Could be totally. We got to keep it at least his face. Yes, perfect. Oh, hey, what's up, Card? Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and clear this for a second. Figure out where to place it. Boop. Let's stick it over here. There we go. Okay, so because we're making the base, we need to, I think we need to make the second one. Alright, let's go ahead and make this one. Go 3. Yes, to Zelda Majora's Mask. Hey, Kozu, I've been wanting to do that for a while, actually. I don't know why I've never done it. Sculptastic! My name is Sculptastic, and I am a ZBrush. Awesome. Well, welcome in, Sculptastic. Happy to have you here. All right. Yes, I think. Oh, perfect. I think that's good, because if you guys don't know Demon Slayer, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but you gotta go watch it. But I definitely I will say that this mask holds relevancy to Tanjiro's success. So, I think what we need to do real quick is look up, man. Okay, this here, oh, okay, hold on. I have all these folders up. Makomo. Okay, so let's go. Oh. Mask. Right. Actually, let's go brothers. Right. Oh yeah, I know about that mask. Oh yeah. Yo, what's your media? This looks awesome. Thank you so much. Hold on one second. Sorry. What's my media? Digital. Digital. I'm not quite sure what you mean by what's your media. Sorry, drawing a brain fart. This will be 3D printed, if that's what you're referring to, for sure. Really excited about that. Oh my god. Okay, pop quiz. What was the brother's name? Sabito. Sabito. There we go. Sabito. Yes, there it is. Okay, great. Hey, it's a Peter! Peter Steves, how you doing, man? I do have an art station, absolutely. I actually have a lot of stuff. Go ahead and take this link tree on over. If you don't know, yeah, I mainly stream here on Pixo every Sunday. I work for a small little company called Funko, where we make a bunch of little pop figures for people to enjoy. And I do a lot of other stuff on the side. Yes. So there you go. Enjoy. Also, too, I do have a Discord where a lot of artists come together and we hang out. Pretty often, actually. Where we hang out a lot and we just basically share each other's artworks. We help each other out. It's a really positive, forward community. So if you guys want to join a community of artists that just talk about anything, it doesn't even have to be art. You can come in and just talk about why trees are so awesome. Totally fine. Everybody's welcome. Come on in. Yeah, not a problem, dude. All right, so we're gonna make the second mask now because I'm on this thing where that's gonna happen. So what we're gonna do is actually, I don't need to remake the base of it. I already did that like a little over a year ago. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, right? So we're gonna go ahead and take this. We're gonna auto group it. I'm gonna take this guy right here. We're just gonna repurpose it because why not? So just gonna go ahead and delete hidden, copy. Gonna save as. And now we're gonna save as. Like it's all the way back here in 2020 ZBrush projects, which is really funny. Let's go back. My live streams, Demon Slayer. And then what we're going to do is actually call that Zabito. Oh, wow. Can't spell today. Zabito. And that's going to be 01. And it's actually going to be a lot easier. This mask isn't super complex. And if you want to know the reference I'm pulling from real quick, this is it. Go images. And this is the mask. It's just really scarred up a little bit. So we'll end up doing a few other things. Hey, how you doing? Long time no see, for sure. How are you? Welcome in, man. Great to see you here, dude. How is life? You have to catch me up. Okay, so let's go ahead and what we're gonna do here real quick. Actually, let's delete this piece right here because we actually just need to reshape this right here. So we're going to take the move infinite and we're also going to take back face and we're just going to reshape how this mask is for his mask. Ooh, that is ugly. All right. Maybe turn off live bullying for a second. Oh, let's see here. That might explain a lot. I have subdivisions on. Let's delete subdivisions. Again, back face. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna delete all the spaces. We're gonna use regular because it's just giving me problems. And we're gonna just reinvent this a little bit. Just like such. Yeah. Better. Doing well, bro. The Demon Slayer is looking awesome. Thank you, man. Dude, thanks so much. I gotta keep it up here. Like, I gotta keep doing that. Now we're going to go ahead and actually take the Z modeler brush, hover over it, all of it. Going to push it all the way through. And then we need to actually go down to display properties and flip those normals. What is happening here? Increase of what in tarnation is happening? Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. Auto groups. I had stuff back here not treating me well, so let's delete hidden. There we go. That's better. He did a lot in that sculpture since last time. Yes, yeah, I did do a little bit off stream. For the most part, it was just little things here and there that needed to get done, but for the most part, we've kept it on this stream as much as possible. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add in some lines here, and then again, we're gonna push that back. I'm gonna flip. You know, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna pull this out here. All right there. We're gonna go ahead and group by normals and increase Paul Gabry's. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mirror and weld that. I'm gonna start dragging this out. I'm gonna hold Shift, drag that out further, so it pops through the other side, like such. And then we'll live boolean that. There we go. Now we can finesse how this is. Hover over here. Let's go to crease. Let's back this up just a teeny bit. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing to me. I see what you're doing to me. Pull that down a little bit. There we go. There we go. I can tell you right now, looking at this old file, I did this a little bit harder on myself than I should have. Anybody ever do that? Where you just like, you end up grabbing an old file and you're like, ugh, did I do that? What is wrong with me? Do that. I'm gonna go ahead and bring that straight back. Pop that in there, live boolean that. Yeah, alright, that's better. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take that. And just to give me some geometry here, I hover over this edge. We're gonna go insert multiple. But we're actually going to keep the same poly group. We're going to uncrease all, crease Paul Gabry's. There we go. Just like that. Throw this face a bit. Pull that back out. Alright, we'll clean that up sculpturally. I got an itchy nose all of a sudden, sorry. I'm all like fiddling with my face. Alright, let's go ahead and boolean this folder. So we have this guy right here. It's beautiful. Let's go ahead and save it. And then let's clean it up a bit. Will you post in Discord after printed? Oh, you know it. Absolutely. Yeah, this project, the printing phase is probably going to take... I'm trying to have this done by Christmas. Trying. I still have time, which is really good. Running out of it. I got a month. but for sure, that's why I want to start working on it off stream a little bit more, because then I can like really hone in and really just like give it like a good day or two's love, and just, you know, clean up all the stuff that I might be missing, or clean up some of the stuff where ultimately I'm just like, yeah, that needs to happen. But and then I want to go over some basic 3D printing prep stuff on stream as well. Now, I've done that a few times, so if that's not intriguing to you guys, or if you'd rather just go to the Discord and ask questions that way, that works too. I've done it a few times. It's hit or miss, I think, for some, just because it's very technical. It's like putting on an engineering hat and checking my sculpting hat at the door. But either way, I'll be showing it off, so no worries. Now we're gonna squeeze that down just a little bit, and let's color some stuff. Let's actually mask by poly paint. Make that there, and let's actually go ahead and fill that object right there. And he has more of a pinkish vibe, so we're gonna mask by poly paint right here, soften that, and then fill that with pink. Grab that color. There we go. Maybe it's not so pink. Maybe his is a little bit more red. Yeah, that works. Why not? Let's just call that red. It's going to be so small, and the paint job's not going to matter so much. Okay, now what we're going to do is actually, let's Dynamesh this at a decent size. And we'll hit polish so it keeps things crispy. Want to see this printed? Oh, it's happening! Daily, right? Are you gonna make a visual effects like Nezuko on Fire Tanjiro? Not too sure for this piece, because this piece was actually referenced, where are we? From this concept, and I wanted to hold to the concept as much as possible. So not a lot of fire, flames, and all that stuff, and that's just gonna take a lot more time. But I definitely want to do standalone pieces, and I might keep Tanjiro in this pose and do a secondary sculpture with like his water ability, or just adjust it ever so slightly. A lot of times when you sculpt a character, it's good to repurpose it once or twice if you have a few other ideas. So I definitely have that idea. It is there. Okay. Come here and see. I already know how to go from file to print, but maybe there are some things I don't know. Well, we can always cover that stuff like whenever too. It doesn't have to be you know, doesn't have to be a big thing either. If you guys have specific 3D printing questions, you guys can just ask that anytime you want, and then I'll, you know, I just go from there. Because it's very repetitive in ZBrush, and not gonna lie. Go to make this darker nose. I realized I had kind of messed that part up just a bit, so we're just gonna paint it by hand real quick. His face, too, is just a little bit... It's not so the same, so let's actually adjust that. This is a little bit more bad. Sounded sad for me? Dang, it's sad, but it is. Put that in a little bit. Move that down. Yeah, just a little bit different. Dynamesh that. Take the trim dynamic and we'll ever so slightly. Let's see. Do you recommend the Elgu Mars 2 Pro? I have no real affiliation with any printer whatsoever. Just kind of want to point that out. I don't know about the Elgu Mars 2 Pro. I run an Epax, but I can say that everybody seems to love the Elgu Mars in general. Now, I've used the first Elgu Mars, first gen, but I haven't used the second, like the Mars 2. So if it's very similar to what I know of it, then yeah, absolutely. Especially for first-time resin printers because they're affordable. But as far as like getting into more specifics, I have no real overall opinion on it. Epax is what I run right now, but I have a very older version. I think my printer is like 3 years old. I've had it for a while now. It took me a while to figure out Scale Master. If I wanted to be sure all pieces would be in scale and fit together, that may be a good topic someday. Absolutely. Actually, in my last stream, and if you go to my YouTube, And then you go to my playlist. I have ZBrush help. And there's my face. Yay, that's what we all want to see. It is if you're here. And then I have, where are we? Scroll on down, buddy. There we go. Scale. Look at this huge ULUAD. If you want to go a little bit more with how I measure specifically to keep things in scale, that might be helpful for you too, Sculptastic. You're loving the Saturn? Nice, that's good. Okay. Epax resins I've tried are great, but the resins can be interchanged. But the resins can be interchanged. Absolutely, yep. Yeah, I've actually I recently have seen somebody use a Formlabs with just regular eSun resin printing. So I'm pretty sure the resins are interchangeable. I thought that was fascinating, actually. As long as you clean, pretty much like as long as you clean and maintain your printers as best as you can, they will last a very long time. Like, and if your printers sit a while, like, to be honest, my printers have sat for at least a good couple of months. If your printers end up sitting a long time, just don't go and print right away. What you should do is just like kind of wipe it down a little bit, clean it up, especially if you left it a little chunky. And then, you know, like some of the rail systems, just use some like silicone grease or some nice lubrication and just like lube everything back up, warm it up, run it up and down the rails, and then from there, and then you could do a test print and slowly get the machine back up and running. But if you take care of them, they can last a very long time, which is so. So really, like, I would say, yeah, if you're looking to get into printing, Elegoo's a great place to start, hands down. All right. Now we have this. Now we're going to go ahead and just kind of make the scar on his right side, screen left. There we go. I like how quickly this changes direction. And I'm just going to kind of trace out what I see in the concept. It's supposed to be more like scratches and stuff. So just kind of make it look like a scar tissue, an anime scar tissue. Such. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and just use my clay buildup. What I'm going to do is trace what I did, keeping it kind of loose a little bit. I did this to Tanjiro's forehead, where I just kind of made the shape pattern there. Then I inverted it, like such. And then I put on backface, because on this side it's the same thing. What you could do too is go mask pen. Just mask that off real fast. But got to turn backface on for that as well. To do that. Go. Play build up, and then I'll keep everything in kind of a similar direction. Okay. Go. And then let's actually go ahead and get kind of that same color. Let's grab that color, and then we'll switch. We'll also do kind of a reddish color. And then I'm going to go over it with some color tone. So let's actually switch color. This. And I'm keeping it kind of loose right now. Switch color. I'm going to go over some of that. Just like such. Move some of that down. Move that down with some color choices. It's going to be tiny, and so the paint job is not going to be so much. Let's go ahead and save it. And then let's go ahead and copy this. Let's place it with the other mask. We're going to paste that. We're going to do the same thing. Keep it relatively close to Tanjiro's face size. Eyes line up, which is nice and a little creepy, but you know, it works. Love your Wanhano. Wanho. D8, really good accuracy. Nice. I've never used that printer. I've heard of it, but never used it. Hey guys, support this man on YouTube channel. There'll be a bunch of free valuable knowledge. Heck yeah, do it. All right, there's our creepy look right there. Real quick. Yes, he's so angry. Okay, keep that there. Let's drop this down. Oh, I appreciate it, guys. Go ahead and pop that up there just a little bit. Actually bring that over there. I think will be kind of cool. He looks me. Yeah, I know, right? He does look me with the mask, absolutely. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Now, what's gonna be cool is with this piece in particular, I'm not gonna key these masks at all. In fact, when it comes to little pieces like this, I don't like to key them because I think personally it will it'll be better for the the owner or the person interacting with the statue to be able to place them however they want. I think it would be kind of cool. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now, if some of you don't know, what we will be doing is we will be using magnets for this piece because there is a lot of pushing the boundary, so to speak, of how gravity works, and I don't want to work against it too much. So, like her, for example, we'll be using magnets to make sure that she is actually mounted really well to the carrier, and then we'll probably make the torso and the carrier one piece as it prints, so that way it's nice and sturdy, and we'll have that with magnets down on his lower half. And then, of course, we can add magnets on the base as well. But I think overall that's going to be a really good approach. So we'll end up doing that. So I'm not too worried about weight distribution so much on this piece, just because magnets are going to do a lot of that work for me. All right, let's go ahead and save this now that we have those down there. Okay. Now, let's finish these rocks here. I'm going to go ahead and actually auto groups, and then I'm going to split hidden. And then let's turn off RGB. I'm actually going to reset all my brushes. That's a really good trick if your brushes aren't doing exactly what you want them to do. You just reset them, it puts it all back to some sort of standard. I'm also going to lower that down just a bit. Let's do that. Okay. I've been watching one of your previous streams where you make a box representing the print bed size to help you scaling. I'm also finding that when I set the Scale Master sliders to anything above 100, it throws up an error message saying it can't be achieved. Have you found a solution to that? Yeah, okay. That's a really common error. It's a common error that I don't know how to replicate, but what I can say is probably the best solution for you to try is go to ZPlugin, go to Scale Master, and right down here at the very bottom, there is, where are we? As soon as I bring this up, sorry, not at the bottom, up here at the top, there's a ZBrush Scale Unify. So what that will do is that will unify your ZBrush scale to whatever settings that you had it before. It'll kind of just clear it up. Another thing that you probably want to try at that point would be to go into T-Pose Mesh with every subtool that you have under the sun. Try this real quick. I have a lot, so this might take a second. But what we'll be doing is then we'll unify, we'll go to deformation, we'll unify it to the viewport, which will kind of change everything back to a standard. So you have your entire model here, go to deformation, unify, and you see how that's scaled down a little bit, and then just send that back home. And then from there, try to use Scale Master one more time. I find a lot of times Scale Master can break for me when I've set it, and then I end up setting it to another subtool. Let me explain that in a second. Because the way Scale Master, the way I use Scale Master, let me refer that. The way I use Scale Master is like you saw me with a bounding box, I create a standard in which I always check or always adjust to that size. So that's why I make a 1-inch or bounding box cube, because then it's easy for me to kind of to remember that that's the scale in which I'm working in. A lot of times, if you were to go to, let's say if you were to go to this subtool, right, this box here, and then from there you go to ZBrush Scale Master, and then you set it, and then you resize to whatever you want to do. Here, hold on. Let me save it before I break it. So if we go back here, and then we, let's say we adjust the size to go 25, right? And then we say resize subtool. Now that's going to go through its whole process. Doobie-doobie-doo. And then if we were to go ahead and then do another scale with another subtool, that's typically where I found I had the most problems. Man, this file is massive. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, I almost freaked out right now. Well, we're going to try to break it, so let's see what happens. Don't mind me, I only have 81 subtools. I should probably try this on a smaller file, but we're committed now, so. Okay. So now we have this, right? And then I'm going to pick this one right here. And then I'm like, actually, I want this at 120. So I say enter, and then I go ahead and do the whole resize subtool. Let's see what happens. Watch, it's not going to error for you. It's actually doing it right now. Okay, well, if this doesn't break it, I'll show you the next step you could do. See, when you want the problem to happen, it doesn't do it for you. It's like working flawlessly right now. Go figure. Go figure. But what I would do, I'll show you after this. We'll do a unify to the whole thing, and then so that's what I recommend. Try to unify it. Either way, going to deformation or going to what we're going to do right next, which is the scale master unify all. Just because it's going to rescale everything to your viewport a little bit better. I would try that. This is the long way of answering that question, and I apologize. So the best fix is to want it to happen. I'm trying to get it to happen so I could hopefully showcase how it would work. You guys know me. I like to live dangerously. I was like purposely going extreme scales just to try to get that error. But I know what you're talking about. And that it happens often. Another way to get that error too is setting ZBrush scale and then trying to export things out using 3D Print Hub, and then from there trying to reset. If you don't set the 3D Print Hub after you've used Scale Master, 3D Print Hub does not talk to Scale Master in any way, shape, or form. And the misconception is that sometimes they do. So if you haven't, you're getting that error after using 3D Print Hub, again, just unify. We're going to try that right now. 81 subs. Come on, finish. I think it's done. Okay. Nope, I broke it. There it is. It's all broken. Okay, well, let's go ZBrush Unify. Just so I can show you how that is. I know this is what you all came to see. Me scale the sucker and squeeze it and break it. But hopefully that makes sense. That's what I would try. I was trying to replicate the problem, and did not work. Just a smear frame animation. Right, Mick? Right? Yeah. Oh, no, not at all, man. That's why I'm here. I try to troubleshoot these things. It's just, you know, like your car or the dentist or whatever, you know, you think something's wrong, you take it in, and then it's like you try to replicate the problem, and then it says, no, it's not going to work. That's okay. Then you leave, and then it acts up again. Let's go ahead and delete all that, and let's delete this one, and let's reload it. So yeah, just unify. That should be the answer for it. Hopefully that works, man. Give that a shot. Okay. What was I? Oh, the rocks. That's what I was saying. Hey. Okay, we're actually going to use the orb. Where are we? Flatten. Oop, right there. Edge flatten. That's no color. But yeah, that's great. Thank you. No problem, man. If you're still having troubles with it, after you give that a shot, go ahead and post it in my Discord, and we'll see if we can get that solved for you. I know there's a lot of us in there that have had similar issues to that, so we'll get it fixed. We'll get it. Broke. There we go. Yes. Oh, you're not in there? What? Yeah. Go ahead and take this link, and all the way at the bottom is Discord, and then just go ahead and jump on in there. Just believe you me, there are a lot of people in there who love helping out as much as I do, so you're in good hands. There's so many Discords these days. There really are, yeah. I'm very picky with who I join as far as Discords go, and I have a lot. So it's pretty interesting. You know, it'd be really cool is if, like, you know, I know a few of us in my Discord have talked about, like, maybe finding other, like, maybe creating like a Discord where like all the big artists are, and everybody comes in and hangs out and talks to everyone, and people can come in and interact. Okay, now I'm just rambling. Don't mind me. No problem. Join. But let me know how that if you get that error again. Let's go ahead and we're gonna fill this now with that kind of gray color right there, and we're gonna make it kind of white right there, and then let's do clay polish. So geometry, clay polish. We'll bring up that sharpening a little bit. We'll hit it. We're gonna go ahead and fill color. RGB. We're gonna invert that, soften it. Gonna get something like that happening. Now we're gonna repeat this process here. This won't be so detailed, this one. And we're just gonna add some like edge relief here. Yeah. Okay, because holidays are coming up, so kind of wanted to ask you guys. Thinking about doing a Christmas sculpt of some sort. Anybody have any ideas what you'd like to see me attempt to sculpt? Might put up like a poll or something like that on my Discord, but that'd be kind of neat to maybe do like a nice little fun theme or something like that. I've done zombie Christmas ornaments. Ooh, that's cool. So, you know, that's cool. I'm already panicking about getting everything sorted for Christmas. Krampus, says Frank Sculpts. Dude, I've not done a Krampus. That would be cool. Santa on a sleigh with Rudolph. Could it be? Could be like it's a lot of reindeer. I like that. All I can think about is Jack Skellington wearing a Santa suit. You guys know I actually did a Jack Skellington a while ago, but we could probably do a more creepy Jack Skellington wearing a Santa suit with Rudolph's head. Robo Santa from Futurama. Ooh, that's a cool. Oh, that's a cool one. Ooh, that's a good one. Damn. Bringing some of that hard surface. I knew asking you guys was the right decision. Keep planning a Krampus base for a Michael Butcher film, including elements from other films. Probably won't get time this year again, but my sculpting's free, so I'm hopeful. You could do it. You could do it. I believe in you. Deadpool Santa. I mean, back in that love spot. All right. So you know what? All right. So I'm gonna write these down. And then we'll do like a voting thing. I like that. Here, I'm gonna create a notepad just so you guys believe me. A notepad. Okay, so we have Krampus. We have Deadpool, Santa. We have Robo Santa from Futurama. Dylan? Call him OG. Alright, we're gonna do like a poll or something. I think these are great. Yes. Alright. I like it. If I had $1 for every time somebody said they believed in me, I'd have $1. Oh, well, here. Did you know Santa's actually a mutant? Wait, did you know Santa's actually a mutant X-Men? I did not know that. A stylized bad Santa would be cool. Oh, that's a fun movie. Wasn't there 2 of those movies? Buddy from Elf. Oh. I'm writing these down. If I can type fast enough. Alright. Hulk Anta. So you want a Wolverine Santa? That's a fun mashup. Has anybody ever done a Wolverine Santa mashup before? See, that's the whole point. See, that's the intriguing part. Is that if nobody's done a Wolverine Santa, then that's already incentive to do one. Okay. Let's go ahead and clay polish this real quick. And we're going to go ahead and fill that color. Soften that up. Then we'll fill that color like such. There we go. Okay. Got some rocks happening right now, which is good. So now we get to take a look at everything. I feel like we need to redo this one just a little bit more. I'm gonna do it twice. What? Fill that object, come here, soften that up. And we're gonna create this to be white. But then, check this out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna solo this out. We're gonna mask by cavity. So we go under masking, and then we go mask by cavity, and then we do it intensity. And we go here, right? And then we can come back here, get this a little bit darker, and hold Control H to hide that mask. And then we're actually gonna go up to color and sorry, not color. We're just gonna go to RGB, drop that down a little bit, and we're gonna fill this slowly. Not super powerful. It's been done already. No, of course it's been done already. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised, but the reindeer that ran over Grandma. Oh, I love that song. Got candy cane claws. That's awesome. Trying to cheese food. That's hilarious. You got to drop a link. You got to drop a link. I got to see that. Okay, let's go. All right, we're gonna now kind of detail these rocks up a little bit. So we're gonna add just a little bit of like some texture. Did you know that Saint Nicholas, aka the Santa Claus, is also a patron saint? No. What? Not know that. Learning a lot about Santa. I didn't know that. That's awesome. I'm always intrigued by history in general. I feel like there's just so much we don't know. And then when you know about it, you're just like... Alright, now the question is, are you pulling my leg? Because I could be pretty gullible up here. Depends on your take on history. I don't like the memorization of dates. I do like history as what it is. Yeah, I guess what I like about history is just kind of knowing how things got from point A to point B. And there are things about history that intrigues me, specifically like I would love to know more about pre-Dark Ages, because, you know, they always find stuff that, like, you know, a lot of people like jump to like, oh, aliens, which not a bad idea, but I like knowing that, like, there's something before that was really advanced, and the way things used to be at some point in time was so different. So I love kind of like going through, like, I love watching the History Channel. I like when things get described in a way that kind of like, it's almost a little bit relatable, and you can kind of look back and see how that was the way it was, and then the evolution or escalation of historic events, like learning that, you know, if I got this right, but like learning that Washington was able to get ahead over British general because he was in the middle of a poker game. Just like he was able to cross the Delaware because of a circumstance that was unrelated to the war at hand. He was just too busy. It's like when you hear things like that, it's like, that's funny. What if that guy was paying attention? You know, history could be changed by one decision. So I love learning little things like that. But then, too, I guess it depends on, like, where you learn history from, because there are some cultures or some countries that don't talk about certain points. Like, I recently learned that Japan doesn't necessarily teach World War II in depth. They just kind of, like, gloss over it a little bit, which I find fascinating, you know? So, yeah, I just kind of like knowing. It's all, like, irrelevant, but relevant. I don't know. I'm weird like that. The all I know is Santa Claus came from Turkey. The country, not the bird. Right, exactly. It's true about Saint Nick. Things of sailors, merchants, archers. That is crazy. Oh yeah, little things cause chain reactions is extremely interesting. Yep. I googled to get the full list. It's awesome. Wow. Yeah, they do. Yeah, if you're learning about history for yourself outside of education system, you probably don't have to worry about certain countries teaching certain things, because you can seek out the knowledge for yourself. Yep. Okay. Let's see here. This bottom's too flat for me, so we're gonna kind of round this up a little bit. Yeah, I find it super fascinating. I just like learning things. It's always just kind of been my thing. Like, the majority of my hobbies, when I do something, it's usually to, like, learn something. I mean, it's how I got into ZBrush, so I guess that makes sense. Okay, I'm actually going to up a little bit. It's like the Civil War being taught as the Northern aggression is. Yeah. What about the Muppets Christmas Carol for a sculpt? Ooh. That's a cool one. I think one of my favorite college history class, I read two sources of the same event, split the class in half, and argued our side. Ooh, that is interesting. That would be a class I'd be super into. Yeah, that's cool. Kind of puts things in perspective, I guess, huh? Yep, your brain is a muscle. Gotta learn to work it out. Absolutely. I'm the type of person that can watch how it's made. And that stuff is fascinating. Especially since I do have a manufacturing background. So it's fun to watch shows like that too, because then I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to use that tool. I remember using that machine. Okay, we're gonna repaint this rock because I'm kind of destroying it right now. So we're gonna just go ahead and fill it with this color, but kind of wanted to give it a little bit of a recess, so it's not so flat on the bottom. Actually, we'll just kind of flip curve it down like this. I want to recess this a little bit. That's what we're doing here, watching how it's made. It's very true. Ooh, I'm gonna fill this right here. This is why backface comes in so handy. I'm gonna take a fill brush. I'm gonna use Sakaki's clay fill. I think it's one of my favorite fill brushes. Now what I can do is just kind of come down and flip it one more time. There we go. So that way that part is flat, but there's a little bit of recess under it. Okay, drive is formatted, and I put a file. I know it works on it. Time to clean off the print bed for my last attempt and see if it will work. Yes. And if it doesn't work, throw it out the window. EO and flatten. Now we can kind of come through here and reshape this a little bit more. Now we're putting some of the final touches on it. Kind of get these areas flattened a bit. Of course, too, you can always hold Alt if you want to build up some areas. And then go back over it. It's a really good technique as well. What does Sakaki fill and twist do for that matter? Does SK fill just pull everything to a happy medium and then polish? Yeah, so the fill brush, what it does is it takes the low parts and the high parts and kind of evens them out a little bit. And then, yeah, you could just go over it with a polished brush. Most fill brushes, think of it like a kind of a soft clay buildup, but it's more just trying to balance it a little bit. Kind of like what Smooth Peaks will do, where it'll take the really highs and the low lows, and then they'll just kind of even it out so you can kind of get it back to even a bit. I just like how it responds. Kind of keeping aware of where his foot is. Yeah, so hitting Alt does nothing. Yeah, hitting Alt doesn't really do so much. You get like a slight different result, but yeah, it doesn't really. I don't see much of a difference in the way I use it. Let me put it that way. But for example, with this or flatten edge, I want to build this area up, so I'm like flattening this spot here. Let's actually get a material you can see a little bit better. I'm flattening this area, but I kind of want to raise this up. Now if I hold Alt here, using like the orb flatten, so yeah. But yeah, something like Sakaki's brush, it won't really, yeah, won't really do too much different than what it currently does. But it doesn't hurt to hit Alt and find out. You know? Usually I've hit Alt on every brush just to see what it does. That's kind of like my go-to now. Yep, synthwave radio. You know it. Yeah, Pretzel Rock kind of has a limited selection, but I at least know nothing will get demonetized. Every once in a while, I'll switch it up to industrial. I think there's like a goth one too that I use sometime. But I think this is my favorite playlist. It's one I can zone out on. I can't play Taylor Swift, so not gonna happen. Alright, now we're getting really tedious on this rock, but I think it's important. Let's do it. A lot of what I'm just doing, if anybody's curious, is I'm just kind of going through and seeing areas that I want to just kind of have broken up and just look a little, you know, just look a little run down, but more natural. I don't want too many of these straight lines in there. That's why I'm not using these cracks. But, for example, like this corpse crack 3, I'm going to use that a little bit more right now. Kind of come in and give some of those finer details like that. Use my reference for pure evil. You know what? I want to get into some details. So what we're going to do, actually, let's go, before we finalize paint this one, let's actually come up here, let's save it, and then let's do a ZBrush and then project history. So what we'll do is we will control tap the spot up here to kind of store that area. Then what I like to do, this is where the slice curve still lives for me, is I'm actually going to break this up into different poly groups. So the reason for that is I want to be able to, if I decide to want to unwrap this and put this, you know, use UVs in any way, shape, or form, this trick works. but I find a lot of times just using the slice curve will help ZBrush make better decisions based on my polygroup selection. So I'm going to go ahead and actually kind of slice through the bottom. And we're going to go through the top right there. And then I'm just going to maybe cut that in half like such. And I have all these polygroups down here that are more manageable chunks. Okay, let's actually use that right there so you can kind of see. So here's my polygroup selection. So I've actually broken this up into decent chunks. This way I can unwrap it a little bit easier too if I decide to do that. So what we'll do is I'll actually put those lines back. I'm going to go to Geometry, ZBrush. We're going to keep groups. And if you want, you don't have to, but it doesn't hurt. We can do a geometry crease and crease polygabry. So what that's going to do is it's going to crease all the polygroups that's on there. Basically, we're telling ZBrush, please pay attention to all of these polygroups and keep them separate as possible. And on top of it, the creases are kind of like walls. So keep the edge flow to basically keep the edge flow consistent with the creases and the polygroups, but don't cross them. So that should give us some pretty nice edge flow. So we're going to go to ZBrush, polygroups, and we're going to do a target of 10. We don't need to go too crazy. And we'll keep creases. I like to turn off adapt when I'm doing asymmetrical stuff, but it's up to you. Can't hurt. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and ZBrush. This might take a second, but hey, Carbon 44444, what is happening? All right, not much, dude. Let's see. All right, so now we have this. Okay, and now what we can do is actually just uncrease all at this point. We don't need those creases, and we're gonna subdivide to, like, let's say level 4, which is actually lower than the Dynamesh. Dynamesh is like 800,000. We're now at a little over 550,000. And then we're just gonna, so we subdivided to level 4, and now we're just gonna go to project history, which can be found under subtool, project, and project history. So let's go ahead and do that and say yes. So now we have some pretty decent. Topology to work with our rock. Now, here's what's really cool. So the reason why I did that, we're going to go one step further. Let's say I need UVs on this rock, just for fun. We can come all the way back down to the first subdivision. We can go up to Z plugin, and then we can go to UV master. And actually, let's go up subdivision and let's work on a clone, because it'll have everything there. And then we're going to go uncheck symmetry, check polygroups, and we're going to unwrap this, and that's going to unwrap real fast. Now here's the cool part. What we can do is then we can go to UV map, morph UV, and turn the bumps down to from 50 to 0, and I'll show you why. Here's without turning that down. When we unwrap this, here's our map, and you can see it's really just lumpy and really not good at all. So we can uncheck that. Let's take that bump, which I can show you right there. It's at 50. Let's take that down to 0. We do that one more time. Now we have really flat looking UVs. And then what we can do is put that back, go to Z plugin and say flatten. So now it's completely flat. And if we wanted to, we can clean this up. You know, we can go ahead and select this. We can end up rotating these and fit them however we want. So if you're looking for a way to, work with UVs and kind of clean them up in ZBrush, this is a way to do it. And you can spend as much time on this as you want. Let's say this is what I wanted to do. There's going to be a better way to optimize this, but just as an example, right? We don't want them overlapping each other if possible. That's not good. Try to keep your UVs as clean as possible. Go. Okay, once we're done with that, say we're happy with that. Go back to Z plugin and go unflatten. Now we have this. And go ahead and copy those UVs. Come back to our main rock, which is over here. Drop it to the lowest subdivision level, and we'll paste those UVs on. So now we have UVs. Nice and flat, which is perfect. And then we could take that to whatever we want. So that's why I slice it up that way from Dynamesh to subdivisions. So that way it's workable and it's going to help me out a lot more. Still working on Moon Maid. Nice, man. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Now we have that. And once you have your UVs, by the way, you could just go ahead and make that a single poly group if you wanted to. That's completely up to you. And then we're actually going to subdivide one more time. I'm going to project history on it one more time. Just because I know it's a little bit sharper than that. My UV map is still there, which is good. Go. And now I can really focus on getting some good details happening. So we'll take that orb crack. Let's grab a material that we are going to see everything in. Hey, what's up, Travis? Welcome in, welcome in. Hello from Jamaica. Hello, hello. I am nowhere near that good in Japanese, but I have Google Translate. I try to keep up with that as much as possible. Demon Slayer, yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Alright. We are just currently trying to... Let's actually come back here real quick. Kind of showcase it a little bit. There we go. And we'll come back here. We're just now kind of detailing away. Yep, polygroups, edge slicing UVs. Yep, that's how you do it. It's that simple. Now, of course, that's... I'm going to go ahead and just state real quick that, you know, it's a rock, so it makes the most sense. If you'll do you could do that technique on a person or on a character. Just be really careful with... it's not quite animation ready, but it can help you break things up really, really quickly. So... Alright, now we're coming through. It's 7 o'clock already? Oh my gosh. Like, time is just flying. Okay, let's actually take... Or cracks here. Let's actually take that focal shift to make it a little bit more interesting. A little sharper. There we go. Yeah. Hopefully I answered your question right. I just used, to kind of go over that one more time with the polygroups edge slicing, I just used slice curve when it was Dynameshed, and then from there, marked history, and then ZBrush until I liked it, and then project history back after subdividing, and then go through the UV master. If you want me to go through it again. Yep. Really fast ways for unwrapping. Absolutely. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I got it. Let's see here. Okay, or pinch. And do that a little bit. Alright. I think this might be pretty good. I could be overdoing it at this point. So we're going to go ahead and grab this one more time. Let's grab this color. This color? So now we're going to do is same thing, come through and geometry, clay polish. Go ahead and hit that. Boom. Gonna fill objects, and we need to bump the color up a little. Objects, invert that mask, switch, soften it a little bit, fill objects. So yeah, something like that. Now we'll come through, mask by cavity. By doing that, we go to masking, mask by cavity, something like that. So at least there's a little bit of depth. And then we'll come in, we'll actually make it just slightly darker. That way those cracks make. Awesome. I'm glad you guys like that one. Okay. Let's actually go RGB intensity a little bit more. I'm going to do Control H. I'm going to fill this a little bit until it's too dark. There we go. Perfect. I like that. Now what we can do is we can turn around and actually just start adding a little bit more, like maybe a little bit more rubble to the base. Just kind of look at the base a little. One thing I've never really wanted to do was have too big of a base, but I'm kind of feeling like this might be that. So let's save it. Let's try something real quick. What happens if we actually rotate this way? Well, first, let's just rotate it to the side. Ooh, I think that's a little bit more interesting. Come in here, let's pizza box this. Yeah, that might be pretty. You know what we should do, actually? Let's kind of shorten it a little bit. Oh, decisions. There we go. Now this is where we get to actually lower the subdivision a little bit, kind of mask it off. And here's a cool little trick for masking. If we grab the mask lasso and we come all the way back here and just kind of mask far away, it actually gives you a really nice soft gradient mask, which is really cool. You can invert that, kind of stretch that down a little bit. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, that could work. Take this real quick. actually going to rotate this around. Touch. Take this one. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do... I'm gonna hide Tanjiro Netsugo just for a second. And the clothing in the box. I want to get this right here. Because I think it would be a little bit more interesting if they were kind of next to each other. Do something a little bit more like that. Okay, cool. And then actually this can come over and down. Kind of stacked on there like such. Oh. What is what? These are little Easter eggs for the Demon Slayer statue. I forget the proper name of the mask, but it's from one of the characters that helps Tanjiro become so amazing. Not to spoil anything. Okay. Okay, let's get on to... Let's leave this for now. Let's go ahead and get rid of this little temporary base. This doesn't do anything for us. We're gonna go ahead and delete that one there. Let's save it, and then let's work on just blocking out some cloth for right now on her jacket to kind of bring it up a little bit more. Kind of went ham on this rock, and well, that's not cool. So. Okay, let's actually take that hair. Get rid of it. Ibuki mask, thank you. Yeah. The masking trick. Oh, the masking trick is if you have an object. Let's do this right here. Okay. So if you have this object right here, if you're up close and you... Let's subdivide a little bit. If you're up close and you mask off like normal, depending on your resolution, you're actually going to get a pretty sharp mask from up here. But here's what's really cool. See how sharp this mask is? If I back this object up, say like back here, and I mask with the mask lasso, I zoom back in, see how soft that is? So if you have a really dense object and you're trying to get a really soft mask, instead of masking an area and then control tapping or coming over to masking and going blur mask a million times, even with a super dense model, let's call it 2.2 million, just back it way out here, kind of just mask off your area. Now zoom all the way in and just look how soft that mask is. Versus 2.2 million like that. So just a little trick of the trade. I think they're Kitsune mask. Oh, maybe. I can't remember. Let me see. Let me back this up a little bit. It might tell me. Yeah, I'm not sure in what kind of mask it is technically. I'll have to look that up. Okay. So yeah. So that's be that. Let's go ahead and go to geometry. No, subtool. I'm gonna delete that. There we go. All right, let's get this cloth going here. First things first, let's actually do some wrinkles here. Now, what's really cool about cloth in general is it's very directional. Even though it will compress and stretch on itself, there's compression folds. There's trying to think of the proper terms for them. Just think of tension folds, compression folds, but it's going to move with the body. And so if we remember that, then what we're going to end up doing is just kind of creating wrinkles that make sense and flow with it. So if you have reference, again, reference, I'm going to say that a million times. But here what we're going to do is we're actually going to apply our subdivision level, so we have some decent subdivision. And you can use the standard brush if you would like. It's actually a really good cloth. It's a really good cloth brush, actually, if you're trying to just get some good shapes. But we just have to look at the body and say, like, okay, right here, it's actually going to be pushing up on itself. So we're going to want to make some adjustments and work within that. So let's go to the clothing. Let's turn all this off. Let's kind of keep this in mind. Let's actually fix the theme a little bit too. That's going to be super important. I am working with single-sided geometry. I just think it's overall better to work with cloth as single-sided than apply thickness when you're ready, but whichever works for you. There is no sense of discomfort in anime. Agreed. Has anybody here not seen Demon Slayer? I also want to be careful not to spoil anything for anyone. There is a second season coming. Saying. Fine Parts Division. Theme is fixed. Let's come back down here. Turn this one on. They're good. Haven't yet, despite you telling me to watch it like 8 months ago, and still today. Come on, Kamara. Pretend it's Bo Burnham. Kind of smooth that down a little bit. All right. I'm going to just use the standard brush to kind of showcase that you can use a standard brush. But just think there's going to be tension flowing up this way and out with the seam itself. So there's going to be a lot of tension coming through here and a lot of tension coming through here. So if you're going to just use a standard brush, what you can do is just make your first seam coming, your first fold, I should say, not seam. Kind of do a positive and then a negative against it. And then, of course, you can just adjust this. So just little things like this, just coming out this way a little bit. Got so excited, I read the comics. Ooh, nice. I'm gonna have to say, I have not seen the comics. Or, sorry, I haven't read the comics, but seen them. But I'm thinking I'm gonna want to. And then what we can do is just Control D, just do a light smooth if they get a little too out of control, and step up and smooth, and then you can see that that's happening pretty nicely. And you want to start with pretty decent, just decent folds that make sense. Take your time. And then, of course, too, if it's being folded, right, if there's folding happening here, you add that as well. Chainsaw Man is going to be an amazing anime when it comes out. Oh yeah, it's on my list. See? I need to give Attack on Titan another chance. I watched first few episodes and it just didn't click with me. That's definitely something I want to kind of go back over a little bit. What we're going to do is actually turn everything else back on. I can kind of see it interact a little bit. I want to jinx it, but my printer has made it through the bottom layers without glitching. Yay! Yeah, knock on wood for sure. For sure. Okay. I'll look at my concept one more time. I want to make a couple adjustments. So first things first, I'm going to actually gonna kind of smooth this down a little bit and redo some of this. Because it's a little funky dunky. And why not? Doesn't hurt to go back over and fix something if you're not happy with it. I'm actually going to mask off this area here. That a bit more like that. I'm going to subdivide a few times. Again, that's actually working pretty well. Gonna be some tension right here coming from this area. It's gonna be a big wrinkle too. We'll end up adjusting the hair around it when we need it. Jujitsu, right? Tyson is awesome too. Okay, ooh, nice. Ooh, I'll add that on the list. Nice. Always looking for new anime. So much anime. Okay. These folds are gonna be a little bit more kind of pushing out a little bit, but we're still gonna have some nice tension coming up through this area, so break that a little bit. And when in doubt too, you could just kind of pull that in a bit, create a natural seam. And first things first. Go ahead and do that. Trying to showcase the model a little bit more. Okay, so there's going to be some seams right in this area, right there. Ooh, it's 7:30, almost. The heck? Alright, so we got about just a little over half an hour more. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away. But yeah. This is getting pretty happy with this. Step down a little bit, do a light smooth. Some areas that are just a little too aggressive. Now we're gonna have to fix some of that hair. Now, I've mentioned this in a previous stream before, but I plan on capping off this right here when the time comes. So I'm not super worried about how it looks in there, because I'm gonna end up capping this off, and then we'll, then on the print you could just paint that black, and then that way it solves a lot of watertight issues. But we do have some hair falling out of places that don't make any sense. So we're going to go ahead and back that up. Out. Here. Like I said, we'll cap that off, so that's going to be fine. Okay, let's now work on this right here, get some of the folds happening within this part of the jacket. And then we'll end up bringing it all together. Okay. All right. Now applying the same tension idea. Again, there's a lot of stress that's going to be happening right here by the seams. There's going to be, where the seam is stitched together, there's going to be tension applied in both directions. So it's trying to, basically think of it like trying to rip the stitch apart. So we're going to go ahead and apply. We get some subdivision on this. Then we're going to start adding in some of our wrinkles. Now there's a bit of a fold here, so what we can do is we can kind of bring some of this up this way. They'll fall into each other, creating a high spot. There will be a little bit of a relief here too. I'm going to cut into that. Again. Do a light smooth. Step down a little bit, do a light smooth, step up a little bit. Repeat that action. And if you don't like something, this is why subdivision is awesome. You can just step down, move that area completely, step up, do a re-smooth, kind of save that area. Rework it a bit. Also going to take the damn standard and kind of carve in a bit. If you want to make these a little bit more dramatic too, you could just grab the pinch brush, kind of go over some of your seams a little bit. You can really elevate those wrinkles, kind of sharpen them up. Then go back over it with Dam Standard and just kind of play with it a bit. Bring that up a bit. Let's save it. All right. Down a bit. Nice. All right. Now I'm just again paying attention to the flow of how it's to go, knowing that there's tension here on each side, just kind of trying to keep in that same direction with the bigger wrinkles. Now with super tight tension folds, we'll end up doing a lot smaller of stitch creasing happening, which will give us a little bit more exaggeration and a little bit more realism. Alt pinch is the cheat code. Oh, you know it, man. Looking pretty good. We're going to need to do the same thing to her undergarment. And then what I was thinking for her undergarment as well, I was actually thinking that we end up kind of carving in her design a bit. Pretty cool. Down a little bit. Yeah, alright, I feel like that area broke a bit, but we fixed it. Cool. Need to push in the line and create a plane without destroying it. Destroying it with smooth brush, try Alt Pin. I'm actually smoothing my line on purpose. The reason why I'm doing it is because I want these to be bigger folds. But when I start pinching, that's when I start refining each fold. I'm more looking for the overall feel. And so the reason why I'm smoothing it here is because you see how big of a fold this is. We're just working with the general shape of it. I smooth here and step back up because it softens without destroying that. But when I start refining and detailing, then I start alt pinching. But it is an excellent tip, so totally agree. I do a lot of weird techniques with a smooth brush. I also like using the Dam Standard, and I like to come through here and just alt that, and then kind of lightly smooth it back down. That's just what works for me. Okay, let's look at this as a whole here. I'm going to turn everything off, but these three right here. And we're going to work with this. James ZBrush doesn't have an adjust last action like Photoshop. It actually does. It does have an adjust last. What it is, so imagine all of this right here, right? All of these wrinkles. So let's say I want to push those. So I come back and I actually control tap on that history spot. I come all the way back up here, go to stroke, adjust last. And then I can push that. And I'll follow all of that history. So yeah, it's just right up top. So just go to stroke and adjust last. It's right here. No, you're fine. That's actually relatively new as of 2021.7. I think maybe 0.1, but it's new, so don't worry. Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Okay. Now I want to add some like finer details here. Some of that kind of pinch, those pinch ones, the pinch, the more of like the stress wrinkles. Yeah, those pinch ones. Come here, go up to a higher resolution. Let's actually use the damn standard. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to so you can get as crazy as you want with this. What I like to do is kind of stagger them a bit. Again, this is a detail that's actually like just like really small. So I actually, depending on how big this is, I may want to go a little bit bigger than that. Let's do that. Let's go a little bit bigger. Let's come here, back that up, come here. Maybe we'll use standard. These are just those fine details you can add. Folder. Not even gonna read. That's the part you need to ask yourself too. You don't want to do too much too quick. I can even create a brush to do that a little bit faster, which maybe I'll do in the. I have a couple alphas I can use. Yeah, we'll do that. That's gonna take forever. Come in and reconnect that. That make a little bit more sense. Time is it? It's 7:40, give or take. Okay, let's actually check this pattern, and we're gonna start carving in this. Come back. I don't want to do too much too quick. All right, so for this pattern, thinking about just carving it in, actually. I actually have it. Where are we? Their mask. Let me see if I have it here. I should have it under Netsuko's reference, and then we can overlay and kind of carve into it. I want to give that a shot too. Sculpture, let's see here. If I don't have it, then we'll have to try to get it. Not a big deal. It's a very specific pattern. Very good. Let's go reference. Okay, cool. I actually have this pattern. This is actually, yeah, this is a really cool pattern. So what I'm gonna do is overlay this and then actually carve this into her kimono. Good that I have it. So let's go ahead. All of this. Let's actually apply. Go to texture. Let's import. Mid-layer sculpture. Go reference. There it is. Have it right here. So what we can do now, we can kind of overlay this pattern as we see fit. Let's actually take the, not spotlight, let's take the opacity. Drop that down. Whatever size we make it, we're gonna kind of want to stick with that. Okay. Actually go up in subdivision a little bit. D. How are you doing that? Actually, try it one more time. Kind of giving me a weird little error. Interesting. But that's okay. Kind of just want to start it, and then we can just connect it. There's probably 100 different ways to do this, but this is the way I'm going to choose to do it. I'm going to use the SK/brush for this. Let's actually go to, where are we? Render. Yeah, page. Okay, let's actually do this. We're going to kind of trace this. Not kind of, we are going to. But you know what, before I do that, let's actually go to supply a morph target. Morph target. I'm going to make all of these. Now, there is a reason why I'm not using masking by paint. because I think I'm going to be producing a cleaner line than masking option will do. At that point, it's just preference. Imagine being able to do that with Dynamesh. Yeah, that'd be crazy with Nano. Dude, what I love about this is it's very cathartic. But I'm able to draw these lines pretty quick by tapping, holding shift, using a lazy mouse, cutting in real quick. This works. I like to do things a little bit more hands-on approach. Take that render. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This way, when we actually print it, we'll be able to see all these. This will work out fairly well. And then for these areas, I'll just make a circle, and then I think it'll show up pretty well. Now it's real quick, let's turn off solo just to make sure. Some areas like this, we can just kind of drag this line ourselves. Go. Here. Now the rest of this is going to be, that's going to be hidden, so we don't need to do too much, but we will need to repeat that or do something similar on the other side. It'll work out just fine. Again, at this point now, based on what this is, back this up, we can control tap, get that there, come back up to stroke, and then we can adjust last. Again, stroke, adjust last. Yeah, that works. All right, let's go back to render, fade opacity, come back up to that. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab this color. We're gonna fill object. All right, so we missed a little bit, so let's go back real quick. Do real quick here is I'm going to grab perfect circle and mask off these areas right here. I think I'm about the same. Hey, what's up, B? How are you doing? Come in, welcome in. Got about 10 more minutes. So what we're gonna do here is actually drop this. I'm gonna go thick skin, turn that on. Set as size. Like that. Play build up. I'm gonna take the clay fill. Yeah, ult doesn't really do anything. That way there's a little groove there for painting. Just gonna we're not gonna do it this stream, but I'm gonna repeat that throughout the dress. Any place that's visible, that'll be perfect. But that's essentially creating her pattern. And luckily, because we're doing it in only visible spots, we can do it like that, no problem. Kill Amanda watching. How's this training this time? Oh, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. Happy to have you here. We're about ready to wrap it up in a couple minutes. Gonna get some dinner happening. But yeah, guys, this is essentially where we're at right now. It's just now about like finessing it, coming in with more cloth wrinkles, refining, detailing, adding seams. So I think next week we'll be really close to getting this mostly wrapped up. I want to figure out something else for the base just to add a little bit more story to it. But even still, the Easter egg with the mask I think looks pretty good. That gives us a little bit of something. And if we come here, we do outline. Pretty sure I had like a silhouette one. I guess what we could do too is just turn everything off and change this to black color and change this to black. If you're looking for, like, if you're trying to want to fill that. You want to look at just the silhouette, flat color with a really dark color. That should help out. This is our silhouette of the character. I think it's reading pretty well. Overall, pretty happy with that. Yeah. Grab it. Let's see. Awesome Man. Awesome, I was cool to watch it from the start. Nice, dude, nice. Do you manually sculpt cloth folds or use ZBrush Dynamics? So, it depends. I like to use Dynamics sometimes to just get an overall shape and a feel of it, because it can get you started in a good direction. But I like to add in all of my folds manually, because I have ultimate control of them at that spot. Because I do everything within ZBrush, it's just really easy to create a brush, use a standard brush, pinch it, which was actually a really good tip that was mentioned by Hannibal earlier, talking about coming through and just, alt pinching to keep things nice and crisp. I take an approach where I'll do the big folds and I'll lay them in manually, and I'll kind of smooth to relax some areas of the big folds. Then I'll come back in with damn standard pinch brush, and I'll actually define some of the more non-memory folds, and then from there kind of just refine. So I like to do things manually. I'm very much for a digital sculptor, I do things a little bit more traditional, so to speak. I like the feel of having my hands on it, so I'll automate where I need to, but for something like this, I like to kind of put them in myself. And actually, I have a really good resource you guys should definitely check out. You guys should look up this book if you're looking for wrinkles in general. There's this amazing book, Dynamic Wrinkles and Drapery. Check this book out. Super amazing. Because you're going to learn a lot with directions, folds, and even though this is mainly for 2D art, it all goes the same. Like, it'll showcase like the direction of how the fold should be, where the tension lies, where that fold is going. So this is a really good resource if you're trying to get into the folds. Yeah, not a problem. So we got just a couple minutes. At the end of the day, too, if you think of it, like, you can make X's, Y's, B's, and W's, and that could be your wrinkle. like a slight cheater way of doing it, so to speak. But yeah. Like anything, I preach it 100 times. Reference is king. It just really helps you showcase everything. But also, too, don't put detail where it doesn't matter. This print is going to be about 200 millimeter in height overall. So, in retrospect, I mean, maybe a little bit bigger than that, but in retrospect, they're both going to be pretty small. If this whole thing, including the base, is 200 millimeter, then, that's like 7.5 inches-ish. Maybe a little bit more, 7.75. That's actually pretty small, so, a lot of details are not going to show up. Speaking of details, I just noticed that this guy right here needs to be pulled out. Now is the time to go through everything and make it worth it. Go. Alright, guys, that's going to be it for the day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'm really happy, actually, with how this is coming along. Like I said, I'll probably go through and do this detail and refine it, clean it up the rest of the way, but I'll apply that to the rest of her kimono. And then after that, we're really just starting to refine and shape it, add in the fun little textures and the bits, like the wood grains, more cloth, seams in the clothing for making things feel a little bit more official. It still kind of feels like it's in this blockout stage, but that's just because there's not a lot of seams there. And then, yeah, just a lot of refining, a lot of fine-tuning, but we got a base in here. That's super important. Yay. Alrighty, guys. Well, again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. My name is Ian, aka Sculpts. I work for Funko. I'm a digital sculptor there, and I love to do other stuff like make anime statues. It's actually a skill set I've been building, and I really love sharing this stuff with you guys, so always amazing to have you here. If you guys would like to pop in and join my Discord, I know there's 100,000 of them out there, but it's a place for people to come hang out. Lots of artists just like to share knowledge, showcase their work, and also to just hang out, have fun. So if you're looking for something like that, check that out. There's also a bunch of free goodies. Most of the sculpts I like to give away that I do here, I put them up on my Cults 3D account, my mini factory. So there's some stuff there if you guys are interested in printing. And then, of course, too, I have a YouTube channel. I'm not really active there right now, but there's some really good knowledge there, so feel free to pop in and check that stuff out. Anyway, that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff for Pixo. And Wednesday, ZBrush announcement. ZBrush announcement. You're gonna wanna do it. So make sure you show up over there. Alright guys, that is it, and I will talk to you later. Bye, 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 bye.